Operation Sindoor, that was launched to deliver justice to the innocent victims of the Pahalgam terror attack, concluded after 3 days of intense air and drone strikes. So let's tell you about previous military engagements between India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan share a long and complex history of military tensions and conflict marked by multiple wars, cross-border skirmishes and diplomatic standoffs since partition. The first India-Pakistan war took place between 1947 and 1949, shortly after partition. It began in October 1947 when Pakistan-backed tribal militia invaded Jammu and Kashmir. In response, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, then Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister, pushed for military action, and Indian troops were airlifted to Srinagar on 22nd October 1947 to repel the invaders. Jammu and Kashmir signed the Instrument of Accession with India on 26 October 1947. And then, in a few months, on 1st January 1948, then Prime Minister Nehru took the issue to the United Nations of Pakistan attempting to stir trouble, which led to a UN-mediated ceasefire and the Karachi Agreement. India retained 2/3 of the territory. Pakistan occupied what became Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, that's POK, marking the start of the Kashmir dispute. In 1965 is when the next war broke out. India and Pakistan fought again after Pakistan launched Operation Gibraltar, a covert mission to infiltrate thousands of soldiers into Jammu and Kashmir and incite an insurgency. The plan failed to get local support, prompting India to launch a full-scale military offensive across the international border, targeting Lahore, Sialkot and other areas in West Pakistan. The 17-day war featured the largest tank battle since World War II, notably at the Battle of Asal Uttar, where Indian forces repelled Pakistani advances. India also gained air superiority and made territorial gains in the Lahore and Rajasthan fronts. In response, the UN Security Council passed Resolution 211, leading to a ceasefire on 23 September 1965. The war officially ended with the Tashkent Declaration on 10 January 1966, mediated by the Soviet Union in Uzbekistan. The 1971 war then marked a turning point in India-Pakistan relations, as it was rooted not in Kashmir but in a political conflict between East Pakistan's Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and West Pakistani leaders Yahya Khan and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Pakistan launched Operation Searchlight to suppress the Bengali nationalist movement, leading to mass atrocities and a refugee crisis, with about 10 million Bengalis fleeing into India. In response, India intervened militarily, capturing 15,010 square kilometers of Pakistani territory. This was across POK, Punjab and Sindh, but India eventually returned it to Pakistan. The war ended in a decisive Indian victory with the surrender of over 90,000 Pakistani troops and the creation of Bangladesh on March 26, 1971. That point there about the surrender of over 90,000 Pakistani troops, that's the largest surrender in the world after World War II.
All the world admires a deed well done, and I think with all modesty we can say that we have done this action well. But let us not forget that the road ahead is still long and very steep, and we have many peaks to scale.
So this picture, which you see often, was of the signing of the Pakistan Instrument of Surrender, which led to the formation of Bangladesh. Let's now move to 1987, when tensions between India and Pakistan escalated. This was due to the widespread unrest triggered by alleged rigging in the 1987 Kashmir elections and the subsequent rise of separatist groups. India accused Pakistan of providing financial, logistical and training support to terrorists, while Pakistan claimed it only offered moral and diplomatic backing. Both countries increased military presence along the line of control, leading to frequent skirmishes. India conducted a major military exercise, Operation Brass Tacks, near the Pakistan border, which Islamabad perceived as a potential invasion. The situation in 1990 was dangerously close to a nuclear conflict. The United Nations attempted mediation, calling for a ceasefire and demilitarization, but the conflict persisted throughout the 1990s. And then in early 1999, Pakistani paramilitary forces and regular troops infiltrated across the LOC, occupying our territory, Indian territory, primarily in the Kargil district, aiming to alter the LOC and gain control of the Srinagar-Leh highway. Pakistan initially denied involvement, claiming the infiltrators were terrorists, but later admitted its military's role. India launched a strong military and diplomatic offensive, and after 2 months of conflict, recaptured 75 to 80% of the territory. Under pressure from then US President Bill Clinton, Pakistan was forced to withdraw its remaining forces. The conflict led to international isolation for Pakistan and further weakened its already fragile economy. Though initially denying its losses, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif later admitted that over 4,000 Pakistani soldiers were killed and that Pakistan had lost the conflict. Apart from the major wars, India and Pakistan have also engaged in several regional conflicts that did not escalate into full-scale war. In 1965, the Kutch conflict occurred in the run of Kutch, following Operation Desert Hawk launched by the Pakistan Army. Though with India, the boundary remained unresolved since the 1947 partition. Another significant standoff was the Siachen conflict between 1984 to 2003, which began with India's capture of the Siachen Glacier during Operation Meghdoot in 1984 and continued with Operation Rajiv in 1987. India also took control of the 70-kilometer-long glacier, its tributaries and key passes on the Saltoro Ridge, Siala, Bilafondla and Gyongla, with Pakistan retained control of the glacial valleys to the west. Although a ceasefire was declared in 2003, both sides continue to maintain a very heavy military presence in the region. The tensions between India and Pakistan have led to a full-blown conflict and war many times in the past, and Pakistan to date continues to peddle terror and attempt to destabilize India's progress.